Good morning, or is it afternoon, whatever it is. Hello and welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I've been planning to make this video since the last couple of hours, but I just never really got down to it. So welcome to my kitchen. What are we making today? Today we are making something very interesting, and believe it or not, it's something that we see in the supermarket a lot, but we just never bring it home. This is a green plantain, right? But to think of buying it and bringing it home and making something is really, nobody thinks about it. So the recipe that I'm making today is actually a quick stir fry, which is inspired by the foods of southern India. And the prep for this actually involves cutting the tips of this green plantain. Hi Sarla, hi Shalini, welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. So the prep involves cutting the tips and the bottom of it, and then slitting this banana into 3 pieces with the skin on. Of course, wash it first really well. And then I pressure cooked it for 3 minutes on a timer. Now, if you're going to do it in a pan, then just make sure that you poke your fork through and see that it's supposed to be well cooked with a little bit of give to it, but not completely mush. So it shouldn't be soft in texture. And because I had 6 of them, I have a lot of them left over. So this is after I took them out. You just score the peel and you peel it off, and you should come up with something that looks like this. And this is really quite hard. I'm going to flip the camera so you can see how much of a give we still have into this banana. So you can see this is the right side of my knife. You see, it's pretty tough. So I'm going to save these 3 to actually make kebabs with, because I've made them before in the past and they taste really good. So these 3 portions I'm going to save. And the rest of the portions I've actually gone ahead and grated them on a microplane. This is what it looks like. See how dry it is? It's almost a flaky, dry texture. So you just take your microplane, go on to a medium to large setting, and then just grate them very gently. Now you can see as soon as you take them out of the water, they're pretty dry. You want them to be dry because they're not overcooked. If they were overcooked and you ran them through this, it would come out like mashed potatoes. So that's not what we're going for, okay? And if you're not using them, just keep them submerged in water. They're very high in iron content, so they tend to oxidize very quickly as soon as they react with the atmospheric oxygen. I'm not a science geek, I'm not a science nerd, but just letting you know that you can do these little things to prevent it from discoloring. Okay, so in here I have a hot pan. I will actually jump back and say my greetings and quick hellos to each and every one of you. I've actually broken my reading glasses, so I'm going to try to do the best I can. We're going to start with some coconut oil. This is a store-bought brand. Let me actually hold up the jar so you can see. And this is from Costco. Nothing exotic, not from an Indian grocery store or anything. Good old Costco, baby. So this is from Costco. Whenever you make any South Indian inspired dishes, try to make them in coconut oil, because I think that the flavor pairing is absolutely phenomenal. And nothing can compare the combination of the curry leaves to the coconut oil. It really enhances every aspect of the flavor that is going in. So I'm going to put in, and did you know there are studies that actually have proved that the use of coconut oil can actually not only slow down dementia and Alzheimer's, it has also been known to reverse it. So yes, if you have senior citizens in your family, if your parents are aging, or if you live around seniors or work around seniors, try to include coconut oil in their diets. Now you know why all the South Indian friends that I have are super geniuses and IT specialists. Okay, so the oil is really nice and hot. Let me just refocus the camera here. To this I am going to add some ginger juliennes. You can use ginger paste as well. I just had a julienne, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. I'm also going to use this lentil. It's called a matpe bean, and it's skinned, so it's without the skin. In the original form, it's actually black, but you get it in a split form as well, which is completely white. And I'm going to use Bengal grams. This is about a tablespoon to 1.5 tablespoons each. Now I'm all out of mustard seeds right now because I made some pickles and I used it. And you can see my curry leaves are very sad looking. Do you see these? But the good thing is that they still have flavor, and I usually also dry my curry leaves in the microwave and keep them. So I know that when I rip these apart, there's still the oils that are going to get released and it's going to be flavorful. So if you have the mustard seeds at this point, you would go ahead and crackle the mustard seeds onto the hot oil. Add both your dal and give it a nice saute. So the crunchiness and the nuttiness of the dal actually adds that beautiful crunch or mouthfeel to this dish, which is actually a very light stir fry. You're going to constantly saute this. Now I'm going to go in with my curry leaves. You can see these are actually, they have seen better days. But when you rip them apart and they hit the hot oil, they're still pretty aromatic. Right? Oh, it smells so good with the coconut oil. Really, really good. It transports me to my early days as a fashion designer when I used to work in the south of India. And every Tamil family home used to smell of two things: camphor, which they used for their puja or for their prayers in the morning, and the other one was curry leaf. In every home, and I absolutely loved that. It was one of the best times of my life, and these two aromas actually really take me back in time. That was a good 27 years ago, in my early days of my fashion career. Okay, so we're going to keep sauteing this. In the meantime, let me just use this time to say a quick hello to Ms. Payal Dhar, who is tuning in from New Delhi. Hello. Nitya Narayanan is tuning in. Shalini, of course, I said hi to you. Nitya, welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I believe this is your first time here, so I certainly hope it's not your last. You can definitely like and follow the page to get notifications of whenever I am going live next. So that would be awesome, right? I could totally use your love and support. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back here because I think it needs your attention. So you can see how the dal is kind of toasted. You can see the ginger juliennes are nice and crisped up. Now if you like heat, you can add dry Szechuan pepper to this. You can add green chilies, whatever you like. Go for it. Okay. Now to this I am also going to add my signature coconut coastal curry blend, which is one of our Queen's Curry Kitchen spice offerings. And you can add this in any South Indian dish and it really kicks it up a notch. These are highly potent and very saturated, so you don't need a whole lot. Oh, but it just gives it that beautiful flavor. Try not to overcook because you don't want to burn the spices. The grated plantain. Now because this spice mix is a combination of about 17 to 18 different whole and ground spices that have been pre-roasted, it kind of sort of makes up for the lack of mustard seed today, right? So with a very light hand, you're going to toss these around with a very light hand. It's almost as if you're making poha, right? Almost, but not quite. And you can see that it pretty much holds its own. It doesn't disintegrate. This we will add the queen of all spices, I think, asafoetida, which is also hing. Give it a gentle toss. Gonna go back in with some salt. And this is a starchy food, so you just need to get more salt than you. But definitely check for seasonings and only add salt to taste. I use Himalayan pink salt, but you can use any salt of your preference. I'm going to also add a little bit of red chili powder, turmeric. What is Indian food without turmeric? And you can see that it's still fairly dry. It almost has the texture of fried rice. I'm going to let this do its thing. And in the meantime, I'm going to make the last thing that we need in this dish. So I'm going to add some cilantro and I will allow this to sit here for a few seconds. The last thing that we are going to make now is actually a paste with coconut. You can see too much glare. This is coconut and ginger. Just use frozen coconut that I keep in my freezer. So I have coconut slivers, but fresh coconut actually works really well in this dish. Desiccated coconut if you have it fresh. That's awesome. I've also added some ginger juliennes to that, right? And I'm gonna just go ahead and whip it up in my blender. It's a dry grind, so don't keep an eye on this. I'll come back to it in just a second. Just quickly. Apologize for the noise. It's kind of really noisy when these kind of things happen. But you can see it's a very coarse grind. I would really like it to be a little finer, so I'm going to push this down a little bit. And because it's frozen and also my blade is really low down there, so once it whirs around, I think it's not able to reach. So it has to be finer than this, right? So we're going to go back and just give it another couple of blitzes. See what kind of blender I'm using. That's what I have. My phone just does not want to stay still today for whatever reason. Okay, I think we're good to jump right back into this in just a second. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get any finer than this. It would have been more desirable if it had been finer, because you know, fresh desiccated coconut is really fine, but you see that it's actually getting pasty at the bottom, and I really don't want to deal with any oil, so I'm not going to insist. I will crank up the bit, and I might add a little bit of hot water to this and, you know, bring it to life. If only my stuck everywhere. So not a whole lot, because we're not trying to make khichdi. We're just trying to moisten up this dish so that it's not dry to taste. And then again, we're going to give it a good stir. So, you know, the combination of the fresh coconut, of course, if you do green chilies, that, the ginger, the asafoetida, is really, really a winning combination right there. I'm going to just taste for salt. The bomb. I think it needs a little more salt. And I think it also needs a little more heat, because there's literally like there's no kick to it. So hing actually gives it that kick. I will also, before I take it off the flame, I will add some tamarind paste to it. I don't have tamarind pulp at home, so I'll just be a little sneaky and use tamarind chutney, which is my closest hack that I can get at this time. But we will do a taste test on camera, so, you know, stick around. I know you always say that when you make something, please do a taste test so we can see what it tastes like, right? So I'm going to go in with my tamarind. There is no need to cover this dish. You can actually just do it as a quick stir fry. But if your potatoes are really, if your plantains are really, really raw and you're getting that raw taste in your mouth, then it might be to cook it covered for a little bit. In my situation, that is not the case. So I don't need that extra step. So it's really a dish that comes together. I think the maximum amount of time that is gone is in boiling the plantains and then waiting for them to cool and then grating them. So the dish by itself for stir frying, etc., does not really take that long. And you can see it's not oily at all. There's no oil floating on top. There's no onions to chop. There's no garlic to chop. None of that stuff. So I just turned it off. And I am going to now plate it. I will have to reach for a spoon somewhere, which I don't know if I can find. How about using my hands, the oldest tools in the world? Let me say a quick hello to Pratibha Devnath. Hello, Pratibha. There's also Arnell who is tuning in. So welcome to all of you. We just finished making the plantain stir fry. I'm about to do a crazy taste test. Today my camera is just really drunk or something. It just keeps falling down. So you see how it's like gradually going down? I hope my bank balance is not like that, gradually going down. Oh, by the way, for some reason, I just got a big explosion of a lot of my cookbook orders between yesterday and day before. So if you were one of those people who ordered the cookbook, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. So if it was a download, you probably got it instantly. And if you ordered the hard copy, some have shipped yesterday, some are shipping today. So if you haven't had a chance to get to my cookbook, you can always find it on www.queenscurrykitchen.com. It's called The Vegan Indian Home. There is a hard copy and a downloadable version. Okay, now for the moment of truth, right? And you know, lie about it. If it's something that's not turned out the way I thought it would, I'm going to let you know. And if it's good, then honey, you're going to hear all about it. Antonia Maria is watching, so welcome Antonia. Welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. We just finished making a green plantain stir fry with coconut, with shredded coconut, with curry leaves, and asafoetida, and ginger. So you know what, here goes. I'm going to use my hands, the oldest tool in the world. Child, this is really something. So I think I need to stop eating so I can start talking. It has a very dry mouthfeel, so it's not wet. It's almost like eating fried rice, a dry mouthfeel. It's not oily, and when you bite into these bits of the roasted dal, it almost gives you like a nutty crunch, which is great. When I've eaten it made by other people with fresh desiccated coconut, it has a little more moisture, so I think I'm going to probably sprinkle some water on it, but not put it back on the stove top. I'll probably sprinkle a little water and then cover it and set it to the side. But it's actually, if no one told me that this is not rice, I might even mistake this for something called po that we make with flattened rice in India. The lentils are still crunchy, but they're perfectly cooked. The banana, there is absolutely no taste of the banana plantain, the green banana. It's a very pleasant texture. So you know what, if you haven't tried this, honey, I encourage you, go for it, try it. Use it inside a wrap. Ideally, it's served with hot steaming rice. But if you want to use it as a wrap, if you just want to eat it by itself, or you know, sprinkle it on something, just put it in a grain bowl or something, just try to think outside the box. So this is just a technique that I shared, and perhaps tomorrow I would make kebabs with the same, with the green plantain, so I'll be able to show you different variations of the same thing. So this was my recipe for today. This was a journey to the south. My next recipe is going to be making a spinach and mustard greens dish, which is called saag. I will be jumping into that. I am still not sure if I would be doing that on Facebook or Instagram, but you know, if you have followed the page and you're subscribed to both channels, or yeah, both pages, then you should get notifications whenever I'm live. Also, I have a YouTube channel, so if you miss any of the action on Facebook Live, you can always go to my YouTube channel, which is also Queen's Curry Kitchen, and you can search under different playlists. If you want to learn to cook like this, you can always take a class with me. All the class information and classes for beginners, intermediate, and advanced level students are on queenscurrykitchen.com. Pick your time, pick your class, let's do it. Michael Nalini Naidu is also tuning in, so thank you so much. I hope you are going to make this, or I hope you're going to give this a try. I would personally also add some black pepper to it, because there's absolutely in this, and I think with the turmeric, the black pepper really sets it off beautifully. Those are the two things I'll do. I will hit it with some moisture and cover it, and then I will also put black pepper just before I serve it. So like always, thank you so much for joining me today. I enjoyed doing this live video with you. If there is something that you would like me to make, or something that you would like to learn on an FB Live, feel free to drop it in the chat below, and I'm happy to make it for you. If you want to make it with me, then you know, we can both for sure. But thank you for all the orders that you gave for the downloadable version of the ebook, The Vegan Indian Home. I promise you there are 2 new books that are coming up, so stay tuned for all of that action coming up. But thanks again. Be blissful, be flavorful, and be safe out there. The pandemic is not over yet. Please wear your masks. Take all the precautions you need to take. The zip code that I live in has some of the highest cases that are on the research. So we're taking all precautions that we can and not stepping out unless we absolutely have to. Also, if you have kids and senior citizens at home, please take good care of them and of yourself so that you don't bring anything home that they don't need to have in their life. Like always, take good care of yourselves. I will see you soon again in the next one. Thank you for joining me. You are, each and every one of you, so precious and so valuable to me. Thank you for your love and support. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.